going to move ahead in the book a little bit. To page 15. Menu selling. Menu selling is the only safe, legal, ethical way to sell finance and finance products. When I spoke at the NADA convention in New Orleans, I had 1,600 people in my audience, and I said, if my F&I manager refused to use a menu, I would terminate that manager. There are legitimate reasons why it's absolutely imperative. It will not guarantee that your presentation is legal or liability-free. But if you're not using an F&I menu, it's 100% guaranteed that you're not documenting that. It documents your presentation. It documents everything. I've got some things coming up in this course that are going to talk about that. First of all, why is the menu a good thing? It delivers, it shortens the delivery process. When I did F&I step selling back in the 80s and the 90s, we would close the customer on the contract, then we'd upsell them to the service contract, then we'd upsell them to the credit insurance, then we'd upsell them to the chemical package. And it was like, once you closed them on this, you're closing them on something else. The menu forces the presenter to present everything. It forces you to present all the products to all the customers all the time. When you lay that menu out there, or you get on that DocuPad, you can't omit a product, right? You've got to present everything. And that takes away your personal fears, because F&I people have, like many sales professions, we have call reluctance. Are you ever afraid when you deliver a car?
Not typically, no.
Are you afraid?
I'm not afraid, no.
Are you?
My first Corvette, that's what I remember that.
Well, I've delivered thousands of cars and I set records, and I'm always afraid. I'm afraid because I'm going for the number, and most of your sales TOs that sound like this. What's your first name?
Pete.
Keith?
Pete.
Pete, gotcha. Hey Pete, look, I really need this deal. Don't blow these people out. Is that most of your deals?
It happens.
Yeah, and then they're standing out there tapping on a Rolex, tell you to hurry up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so our goal was to present the entire menu. Zig Ziegler was a friend of mine. And we didn't stay at each other's houses, but we knew each other through the National Speakers Association. And Zig Ziegler said to me, he said, a confused mind always says no. You like that? So clarity is important, and the F&I menu creates clarity. A confused customer always says no. Like when I'm presenting the service contract, the parts and labor agreement, I don't present 10 different kinds of service contracts. That's a confused mind. I pick out the one I think is best for the consumer, and that's the one I present. I don't present all the plans. In 1986, I was the spokesperson for Ford ESP service contracts nationwide. I was the F&I school for Ford. I was traveling around doing F&I schools all over the country. And the first thing I did is I looked at the Ford brochure. And it had the ESP Premium, the ESP Basic, the ESP Powertrain. All the plans were on one brochure. A confused mind always says no. I never, ever, when I get involved in consulting a dealership, we don't want a carousel full of brochures on the manager's desk. Do you know what I'm talking about? And do I want the salesman to set me up? No. Don't even mention finance to the consumer. Don't try to sell my service contract for me. Don't try to sell the gap or anything else, because if they say no to you, I can't turn it around. Well, I like my salesman to set it up. I don't. I'll present it. And by the way, what is your title?
Sales manager. I'm finance manager, actually.
You're finance manager, okay. Finance guy? You know, what title do you use? I'm glad you said finance guy, because so many people, they call it the business manager. What do you do? I'm the business man. What a wimpy ass title that is. I'm the business manager. The title business manager was created by Pat Ryan and Associates 40 years ago to deceive the consumer into believing that you were a clerk that was going to do their paperwork. And then you'd lay in the weeds and sell them some things. What do you do? I'm the business man. I'm not a business manager. I'm the financial director. And I don't say finance guy. I'm the financial director. I sound like Sherson Lehman Hutton, Merrill Lynch. I can invest your investments. I'm the financial manager. I'm the financial director. Am I making good sense?
Absolutely.
So anyway, get a power title. The business manager was a deliberate non-power title. You had no power posture at all in that title. And page 17, menu selling forces you to sell everything. When I was with the Potamkin organization, and I was the director of the stores, my Cadillac store was selling 500 units a month. And there's not a 500 unit Cadillac dealership in the universe right now. You know, I think the #1 Cadillac dealer in the country sold less than 100 last month. You know, and that was out of Texas. We were selling 500 new and used cars a month. I had all these F&I managers working for me. And what I found out is that my managers had a comfort level. Now, we're in Florida. Now, in Florida, the service contract, the parts and labor agreement, is an insurance product. We're a little unique. There's only 3 states, I believe, that have fixed pricing on service contracts because it's an insurance product. But in Georgia, where I was at that time, it was a fair market value state. And what I found out is I had one guy, Bob Boyd. He was comfortable selling that service contract for $795. We'd start at $1,500, but it would always end up at $795 with that particular guy. Pete, am I making sense?
Yeah.
And you got some people like that, don't you?
We all got our quirks or default posture that we take. We know we can definitely get that, but maybe we can go for more.
We all go for the default.
Yeah.
Well, you got to remember, people tell me, well, I'm average. Well, average is the exact point where suck starts. If you're average, you're the leader of the sucks. You know, but what I found out with salespeople, F&I people, anybody, everybody has a threshold. You've got a salesperson who is the $400 unit guy. You've got another one that's a $1,200 unit guy. You can almost tell where all their deals are going to come in. Now, did the $400 unit guy just catch the unlucky ups? And the $1,200 guy, you know, what did the top salesman in your store make last month? Do you know?
Al, what'd you make? Oh, salesman?
Salesperson.
Yeah.
Oh, salesperson? Ooh, shoot.
Keith, probably 25 grand.
Yeah.
25 grand. We got a car salesman makes 25 grand. What did the least paid salesman in your dealership make?
2 grand.
2 grand. They both worked same number of hours, worked out of the same inventory, could have caught the same ups.
He's a real salesman.
Okay. One of them made 25,000. Now, I equate that to an entire dealership. You know, when I come from a general sales manager background, I'm looking at the whole thing. So, as an F&I application, are you in your comfort zone? That's the question I'm asking. And this is not a tent revival. You don't need to stand up and faint or cry or confess or any shit like that. You know, you just got to tell yourself, I'm telling you the truth. Are you in a comfort zone on some of your products or some of your presentations? The menu is signed off by the customer, documenting full disclosure. The menu documents that you disclose fully everything on the menu. And that is important because how many people have ever been to court with a consumer? Okay. When you go to court with a consumer and the attorney for the consumer says, do you remember this deal? What do you say?
Well, you're supposed to say, I remember parts of it, or no.
No, I don't remember this deal. I never remember the deal. Because then they're going to ask you, what color dress was she wearing? Did they have the dog in the car? Was it day or night? They're going to make a fool out of you.
No.
Well, how do you know you said that? Now listen to me very carefully. How do you know you said this? How do you know you disclosed this? Because I do it the same way every time without exception. That's your answer. How do I know I said this? Because I do it the same way every time without exception. Once you've got your F&I process, you know you said it because you do it every time without exception. Was that good for you, Andre?
Perfect.
Without exception.